that is my background. That's the first 20 years of my life. But at the same time, I realized that we're modern actors, so we have to have our foot in as many different areas as possible. So I love the variety of doing a play and then turning around and doing some television or a film, and then turning around and doing a video game or some narration. I find that sort of exciting.
Yeah, so you've been all over the place, really. Oh. How long have you been an actor? A long time?
Yeah, really. I've been an actor 40 years now.
Whoa, long time.
And yeah, I mean, I've taught acting, I've directed, right at the beginning of my career, I was a waiter like most actors. I did phone sales. You do what you have to do to survive, and then eventually, hopefully, that's no longer the case. But it's a precarious profession. It's a very humbling profession, and but it is, it's where life has taken me. So.
Yeah, we all have to start somewhere. I'll have to start.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm starting in radio.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good for you. That's a good place. Yeah.
When I'm older, I hope to be a voice actor and, film actor. I might try stage acting. I don't know if I would be good at theater, but...
Yeah. Well, everybody's got different gifts, so, it's... certainly, the stage is becoming more and more... almost rarefied as there's so much programming, and our notions of our ability to pay attention with screens and other things is diminished, and stage is often particularly like in Shakespeare and in classical work, is very much about the word and being able to listen.
Yes.
It's called an auditorium just because you go in and you listen, and we're losing that skill in a kind of way. We're becoming much more attuned to visual images than we are to words, and that's just evolution. Maybe we'll go back and rediscover the word, because the theater is very, very much the word is primal in the theater, and not so. The image is primal in film and television. So.
Yes. I love theater. I like Shakespeare, but...
Do you? What is your favorite play?
Much Ado About Nothing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you like Benedict? Do you like Dogberry? Who do you like in that?
Leonato, and...
Leonato, the father?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Leonato's good. It's a good part.
Have you done Shakespeare plays? You mentioned King Lear.
Yeah, I've done, because I'm male, and if you're male and you're around a Shakespeare festival, the odds are you're gonna get hired because they need so many people. But that's where I started. Actually, the first play I ever did was The Tempest, and when I was in college, that was the very first play. So I have been around it. Some of the Shakespeare festivals I've worked in Oregon at, the Oregon Shakespeare Festival at Ashland. I've worked at the Colorado Shakespeare Festival in Boulder. I've worked at California Shakespeare Festival in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, Orinda. And recently, the place I've done is I've worked at the Utah Shakespeare Festival, which is in Cedar City. And I was there 2 years ago doing King Lear, and then about 7 years ago I did Merchant of Venice as well. So. Yeah. And right now I'm doing As You Like It. So, as another Shakespeare. So.
Yeah. A lot of actors have a great gift for Shakespeare productions. They could get right into it, and
Yeah. Some actors really, really love it, and then other actors, they not so much. They have a much more contemporary sensibility. You know, they prefer a more contemporary playwright. So, but yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects? Well, you said you have a play going on right now, and
yeah, my upcoming things. I'm in. I have an arc, meaning a series of episodes on Shooter, which is a USA series based on the movie about a sniper, and so I've been doing that. I have a couple of episodes of Dirk Gently Holistic Detective coming up, and that's a series that's sort of great fun with Elijah Wood and Sam Barnett. And I just finished that a couple of weeks ago, and that was up in Vancouver. And I'm trying to think what else. But I have I have a film called The Shoe that's coming out that's about solitary confinement, a real gritty sort of film, and a couple of short films that I'm really. One is based on the writings of Thomas Ligotti, who's sort of a genre, sort of somewhat horror-ish writer, and then another film that's called Cowboy, short film that's a real wonderful character study, and sort of a character I haven't done on film and television very much, this old, as the title suggests, this old cowboy who lives in a trailer park. That was great fun, so that variety, all those things are sort of being edited and cut and prepared for airing. Although Shooter has started. I think I begin like the 4th episode, and I think they just premiered just last week.
I'll have to check that out. I don't really watch...
Yeah, I play a priest.
I really don't watch a lot of television. So I try to.
Yeah. There's so much to watch these days, and you don't have any time for yourself. I don't really watch as much television as probably I should because it's my business. But you want to have a balanced life.
Do you watch anything that you were in, you acted in? Because I find a lot of actors don't.
Well, I have. I do. Actors. I'm one of the actors who don't particularly like to watch myself because it makes you a little self-conscious, but you have to.
Yeah.
To see, to understand, film acting is, it's a different deal than some other stuff. And so you do watch, and I don't watch everything, but I certainly watched all of the Stargate episodes, all of Once Upon a Time. And so, you do, but invariably it's a very strange experience to watch yourself on screen. Very, very few actors I know enjoy it.
I've talked to a few actors, and they say they watch their stuff because, they could learn a few more pointers or tips how they can improve their performance, next time, or,
Exactly, yeah.
I have a couple more questions.
Good.
When you were a child, who were some of your acting idols, if you had any? Well, if you had any.
Well, as a child, I did. It was different then. You didn't. Now, the reach of film and television and games and media is so intense. It's hard to escape it.
Yeah.
When I was growing up in the 50s, I didn't really have an actor that I liked. I used to like horror films and sci-fi films.
Yeah.
The old, The Day the Earth Stood Still and The Time Machine and all of those types of things. I used to go. There were double bills back then. There were 2 movies, not just one. And I played sports and I worked. All my brothers and stuff. We all worked when we were growing up. So it wasn't quite like that. Now, when I started studying acting, then of course, actors like Gene Hackman and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman, those were, they were sort of the newest kids on the block. And also the British actors, of course. I always, Ian McKellen, Derek Jacobi, those types of people were also influential.
Yeah. It was a different time back then. A lot of a lot of things, have changed. My generation. I've talked to actors, and they never really heard of video games. It wasn't even a thing back then. Voiceovers and stuff.
No, it was not. There were no video games. It's funny. The first video game I remember in a bar was Pac-Man. And that would have been, in the 80s. That was, that was the extent of it. And now, of course, to go and see, what they're doing with video games, it's extraordinary, and how all of a sudden they're creating films from video games, It's a funny thing. Yeah. How come you're not at Comic-Con?
I don't go to, a lot of Comic-Cons because I live in Mississippi, and they don't really have a lot of Comic-Cons. When they do have them, they don't really have them nearby. All the Comic-Cons I've heard of is San Diego and many others.
Yeah, San Diego is this weekend. I went twice. They are so intense. They are, they're overwhelming. So, I'm glad to take a little break.
Maybe when I'm older, I would try to go to a Comic-Con. I hear they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe when you're older.
I hear they're a lot of fun. So
I'm sorry?
I said I hear...
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have. You've answered all my questions. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you great luck, Trey, okay? And you take care of yourself, and hello to all your listeners in Mississippi and throughout the United States and the world. So you take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That was Mr. Tony Amendola. He is one of my favorite actors of all time. As he said, he is doing a play currently in Los Angeles. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I loved it. Loved it. Nice man. Join us in a couple of weeks where I'll be interviewing Mr. Jay Brazo. He's a Canadian actor. And Mr. Amendola even mentioned working with Mr. Jay Brazo. And after that, I guess I'll be having a couple interviews. I know after the 4th of August, I'll be toning down because I have other stuff more important. But I will keep doing this on weekdays and evenings. Weekends and evenings, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, and God bless.